Let's talk about a guy who we know has been a bust so far, and that's Evan Neal, because we know what disappointment he's been. But again, guys, one of the big storylines this year has been the fact that Evan Neal has officially moved over to the guard position. This first preseason game is going to be our first action in a game with Evan Neal playing guard. And guys, he will be playing in this game, barring any kind of unforeseen issues with injury that we're not aware of. And I'm going to say this. I talked before about Jackson Dart. I don't want to see him much. You know, I want to see a ton in this game. Evan freaking
Yeah.
Neal. I want to see that burger flipper turning into a pancake flipper. Okay. Like, I want to see this guy playing as much as possible, because we're going to have to make a decision here in this training camp as far as who's going to be the starting right guard. And Greg Van Roten, you got to think, is the presumptive guy, obviously, because of the fact that he held down the position last year, played every single snap. But you really listen, if you're a Giant fan, you should want Evan Neal to be the winner, because he has a higher potential than Greg Van Roten does. And I know that sounds weird. We've been not very high on Evan Neal in a long time, like basically since we drafted him. But Evan Neal
Pretty
has
good.
a higher ceiling than Greg Van Roten, who's in his mid 30s and been a late bloomer, a solid player. Like, I'm not trying to diss Greg Van Roten. He did a lot for us there last year. But GVR was bad for a lot of years. Ask Jet fans. He was a Jet for a little while. Carmen Brasil has made him a serviceable player. But do not confuse it. He's not a great player. He's a solid player. There is a difference. What I mean by that is you can put him on the field, he won't embarrass you. He's never going to be elite potentially. You know, Evan Neal, I don't want to sit there and say he's going to be elite. Like, I'm not trying to flip that craziness. But if you want to talk about who has a higher ceiling as a player, guys, it's Evan Neal. Plus, JVR could potentially take over for JMS in the acronym more as our center if
Uh,
JMS continues playing like he has played the last 2 years, which again, you got to hope not. In that scenario, let's say Evan Neal does take that right guard spot. JMS, you keep him at the center for at least to start the season. You have a solid guy in Greg Van Roten on the bench that can play center or guard if somebody goes down. And you know, when I say if someone goes down, you know it's inevitability. We're the freaking Giants.
it's a matter of when.
That's life. That is life. And he could play either guard position or center and be a nice, legit backup interior offensive lineman. And then, you know what? Evan Neal, even if he plays just as good as Greg Van Roten, that's a win for us right now, considering how bad he's played at tackle. And listen, I may hold a grudge on Evan Neal because of his BS comments about calling, fans that are talking trash about him burger flippers and all that kind of stuff like he did. But my biggest issue is, quite frankly, that's the biggest fight I've ever seen this guy. Is him complaining about the fans. I want to see him succeed at guard. He's a Giant. I will want to see him succeed as long as he's wearing that blue uniform or white uniform, depending on the week, obviously. But you
That's
know
what
what I
I say.
mean. As long as he's wearing that Giants helmet, I want to see this kid succeed. And I still think he has a chance to succeed at guard. I may not be as high as him as I was when we drafted him originally, because I was so ecstatic that we got him. It's not even funny. Like, this has been one of the biggest busts on my radar for a guy that I thought was going to be a really solid player, and he's turned out to be very bad. So let's hope this is a redemption arc for him. That's what I want to see. Like, he's Loki in the Marvel movies. He's become a good guy, and
Ooh.
let's hope he becomes a good player. Like I said, I think out of all the players, I will probably rooting for him more than anybody else.
Interesting.
Because again, there's the angle of it. As much as I got upset at the comments, the angle is still there. The Giants effed up his injury. And the Giants point blank cost him time and cost him a chance to actually get back and get healthy. I think the Giants also should have forced him inside much sooner than they have. And I get a part of that is the injury. Part of that. But he's a guy who, quite frankly, cannot play tackle because he can't set that edge. He can't stop people from getting around him. But I think if you want a mauler, especially in the run game at guard, where he's got some help on both sides, I think he has the potential to be a decent player. Again, I said decent. I don't know what the ceiling is at this point in his career for him after, being bad for 3 years. I don't, you know? Uh, Jay says, "You should get an Evan Neal jersey, show your solidarity." Drew, 6'7" underachievers. First off first off, I am not an underachiever, god damn it.
I'm not an
No,
animal.
my confidence that I have in life, honestly, is because of the stuff that I have in life. I've got a lot of blessings, that's for sure. And let's be honest, Evan Neal does too because he's got a lot of money. He's got a lot more money than myself. That's for damn sure. But I
Mm.
didn't even realize he was 6'7" till right now. But there's a difference between he and I. He's 350 pounds. I'm 260. There's a slight difference. There's a slight difference in the weight there.
Listen,
Um,
there's a big difference in the mass.
there's a difference there. Bookend Tackle says he ruined my YouTube name. I said it right after we drafted him. Oh my god, yeah, I did. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. uh, this is they talk about Penix. We'll get to that afterwards. Since they were talking about that in the comment section, but yeah, like I said, Evan Neal, guys, this is one of the biggest things for us to watch. I think honestly in this, and will I get overly excited if he succeeds? No, obviously, again, it's a preseason game, but I'll still think there's hope if he succeeds. If he looks as bad in this game as he looked at tackle for his career, it's going to be a disappointment
Yeah.
because all along we've been saying move him to guard. Let's see what he's got. It was obvious from the get go. Basically, he wasn't going to be a good tackle. So let's hope that that's the case because there were some people, guys, remember on draft night that said point blank he probably should play guard in the NFL.
It was a big talk that night.
There was talk of that. So it's not like this popped up out of nowhere. That's where he was at. He needs to move to guard. And now he's moved to guard. And hopefully, that's where he ends up. And I think in the end, I think it's going to be a 50-50 with him and GVR. And if it's 50-50, the tie should go to Evan Neal because of that fact that he's still learning the position and because of the fact that he has the higher ceiling. That's where I'm probably at this point with him. That's my hope is that he takes that spot. Dorothy says Neal can't look that bad at tackle because he has other players to make up for his mistakes now on either side. And obviously I think she means guard, not tackle. But yeah, that's part of it again because he has someone to help him actually set the edge. Jermaine Illuminor was, I think, an above average right tackle for us, and maybe it's just he looks so damn good to us because of the fact that we had such crappy right guard play from Evan Neal and other people for so long. Looking at you, Matt Pert. But that's what just happens sometimes. Um, and he says, I think he's going to be just mid, not embarrassed or anything. Honestly, that's a win at this point compared to what he's been. If he's a mid, and you mean he's an average guard, that's a win at this point. Sad to say, but that's the case. He says, yeah, Jay says, yeah, empanada, gives the poison logo. Says JMS looks like a
Yeah,
pinata.
JMS dead.
Yeah,
Like he's over. Dead.
yeah.
God.
We'll see.
That poison.
We'll see. Well, that's a poison emoji. That's poison.
No, that's a dead symbol. Like you're done. It's dead. It's over.
I've just it's a
God.
poison.
Yeah, JMS.
Poison.
No. That
That's
learn your
when
emojis.
you
Listen, I know you
poison.
I know you're Gen X, bro.
Okay.
I know you just barely made the cut to millennial. That's dead. Like
Listen, I'm
oh,
a Zennial. I don't call myself a millennial. I'm a Zennial.
make it up your own stuff. That's even
No,
more.
it's not. Look it up. It's a legit term. It's a legit term because I didn't grow up with technology. I got it later when I'm still young enough to know it, but I'm not old enough to, I'm not old enough to have not had it when I was young, but didn't grow up with it where I had it my whole life basically. Um,
That's for
but
the millennials.
it's a thing. It's a thing. No. Millennials grew up with it because you're a millennial. So 77 to 85. That's the Zennial. I looked it up. I googled it because it is a thing.
When they put that in
Just
there?
saying.
3 weeks ago?
No, it's been there for a while. This has been a term for years. I'm seeing an article here back in 2018.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's some dude because you don't want to be a Gen X.
No, I'm not a Gen X.
I know.
Listen,
Some
first
dude
we're
wrote that.
arguing over vacuums. Now we're arguing over generations here. The hell's going on with this damn episode?
Gen Alpha's the
Oh my
next one. Oh, jeez.
Oh my gosh. Uh, Bookend says, I think you're talking about, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you're talking about JMS because you put this right after Jay's comment. He says he's good at run blocking, just no balance at pass pro. But technically, you could probably say that about JMS and Evan Neal, to be honest with you. He says, Jay says, can you go by an acronym if you suck? I think so. I don't think so. It is what it is. He says JPP better than JMS. That's the thing. You're supposed to be a good player to get a nickname and an acronym.
You're right.
Rob's 4 hours away from being 40.
Damn, bro, you stalking? How do you know? I got a little more time than that. Not much.
Yeah.
Not
Not
much.
much, though. Not much. Not much, though. I still have some water from the Fountain of Youth we went for my 40th. What's
I need something. Oh, damn. Oh.
Oh.
Bro, I went
Grogu
on a
said,
ribbit over the weekend. That's when I realized I was old and fat. Too much Golden
you went on a
Corral.
what?
A
A what
ribbit.
this weekend? What the hell's that?
It's what they call the inflatable, pretty much jungle gym in the water.
Oh, okay. I know.
And it's almost like Wipeout and American Ninja Warrior mixed in
I've
one.
been at those before. They had those last time I saw was when I was in Mexico, one of the cruise stops, when I was staying at a one of those beach resort clubs things. And I didn't go anywhere near. I knew my old ass did not need to go anywhere near that thing. I beyond reached that point in my life. I know better.
Yeah, I went
Just
with
let
the little guy is a little too young for it, but we went with the lady's good friend. Her son is 15, and no one could go on with him. And I was like, "All right, bro, let's go."
His back hasn't been the same ever since.
No, by pride.
Dorothy says if Neal took a ballet class, he might have a long career as a burger flipper at the ballet. Oh my.
Thanks for watching. Like the show? Of course you do, or you would have turned it off by now and not be hearing me. There are plenty of ways to support the show. YouTube is the best place to join us, and we offer memberships there with fun benefits like custom emojis and early access to video clips. Of course, there you can also send super chats and stickers to send one-time support payments. The best way to support the show is to buy these drunk idiots beers at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Along with one-time support payments, there are also monthly plans, so you can continue to help kill their livers each month. You can also show people that you are a goofball by visiting our store at 2giantgoofballs-shop.fourthwall.com. We got everything from shirts, hats, phone cases, funny candles, buttons, stickers, and even a 2Giant Goofballs towel to dry off your goofballs. Of course, you can always support the show for free by simply hitting the like, subscribe, and share button wherever you are watching or listening to this. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the show tremendously, and quite frankly, the Goofballs suck at marketing and need your help to get the word out. Thank you for being part of the Goofball Army and for taking the time out to support the show.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.